Hey everybody, it's Josie. Welcome back to Cedar Creek Homestead. Well, I know you guys aren't used to having 2 porch visits in 1 week, and you just had the video last night on resourcefulness. So I had to come to you today and have a little heart-to-heart with you. Now, those that are on that follow on Facebook, part of my Cedar Creek group over on Facebook, you already know that I posted something last night. And I thank you guys for all the kind words that you had to say to me. And those of you here that don't know, I posted my frustrations about these new goats that I've got. And left off with saying I feel so defeated. And last night I did feel defeated. This morning I feel better. I've thought about things. I've slept on things. I've prayed about things. And you guys on Cedar Creek encouraged me. Well, I tell you, the resourcefulness that I had yesterday and the excitement that I had over using these goats as lawnmowers today is going to help me to bring about the second part, the second half of our little talk on resourcefulness. Sometimes resourcefulness doesn't work out quite like we thought it was. Our brilliant idea that we had wasn't so brilliant. The thing that still makes you be a resourceful person, though, is that you can readjust. And I'm going to have to readjust. Now, if you'll bear with me, I'm going to tell you this little story. And everybody that I've told it to so far, after the fact, have gotten a good chuckle out of it. And I have to say, on this side of the story, I can laugh too. Yesterday, after I got the video up for you guys on resourcefulness, I went about my day doing my chores and taking care of my little bottle calf and feeding the goats and the chickens and turkeys and all the different animals that I've got to take care of on a daily basis. And I went about my day doing all the things that my day entails. My sister-in-law came over in the afternoon, and we spent the entire afternoon and into the early evening down at the cemetery painting the pipe fence. And we used we're using that green paint, oil-based paint. And you know how some people are, and I guess me and Nada both are that way. We had paint all over us. See, no matter how hard we tried to be as neat and tidy as we could possibly be, we had paint on us. We looked like we were trying to be part of Kermit the Frog's fan club. We had paint everywhere, on our legs and arms and my nails. So when I do videos for the next couple of days and what I'm cooking, don't think that I have filthy dirty nails. It's that oil-based paint has stained my cuticles, and we use stuff to get it off mostly, but they're stained, and my poor little hands are so dry and so that it just, I really don't want to put any more stuff on them. So I may just wear it off. I don't know. Y'all just overlook all that. It's not filth, I promise. It's paint stains. So anyway, we painted all evening, and for a large part of the day, there's a big pecan tree out to the side of the cemetery, and I was in the shade, and she was in the shade mostly, but she's working on a tan too, so she was out there a lot, and she didn't mind to get that on her. I don't tan, I burn and peel, so it doesn't ever do me any good to really be out in the sun other than to getting red-faced and sweaty and more freckles. And then, in the latter part of the evening, when the sun really gets around coming, west, it really gets hot on us, and it did. But we did have some relief with it being overcast. The sun would go behind the clouds, and we had some good old Oklahoma breeze, and so with us being all hot and sweaty, we had some evaporative cooling going on, and so it wasn't too bad. And we've got ourselves cleaned up, and I was dragging to the house. I was so tired and so ready for a shower and to rest up. And I got home and got out of the farm truck, and I saw my goats going down the road. All 3 of them headed towards my in-laws' house. where she has flowers planted. Now, and I have lots and lots of flowers, but they didn't come my direction. They went that way. And I thought, oh no. So I went and got a bucket of feed, sweet feed, and so something to entice them to come back home. And I started walking that way towards their house. And it's not a long distance, but it's good enough when you're tired. So I started walking towards the goats, and my ducks and my turkeys were following right in behind me and wanting me to give them some food. They associate me in a bucket with something to give them to eat. So we went down the road, and in the process, I'm watching what's going on at my in-laws' house. And my sister-in-law, Nada, she was out in the road with the truck, and she was out trying to you know, keep the goats from going around the curve and going who knows where. And Steve, my brother-in-law, he was in the yard trying to get them to go where he was wanting to go. And it's like herding cats. They went every different direction. And my Papa Tex came out. He had already had his shower and was calming down, resting, getting cooled down for the evening. And so he had to get on his mule, his vehicle mule, not a horse mule. Anyway, he got on that. Steve got on it with him, and we had a regular little rodeo, and those goats went everywhere. I'm sorry, guys. I'm speaking out of I won't say despair, and I won't say anger now, but they're dumb. They're so dumb. They ran all over the place, and just about the time you thought you'd get them, they went under the pipe fence. I mean, like this much space they went under. And so finally I got up there and I shook the feed bucket, and they finally started perking their ears up and paying attention that I had this feed bucket. And I got over to one of the troughs that we used to feed the cows in, and put the bucket over there. And so here come, I have 3 of them. I would say the 3 billy goats gruffs, but they're all nannies. So anyway, here they come. The biggest one in the lead. She's the lead goat. And when she came over there, I was able to catch her and hold her until my brother-in-law could get there with the rope to get on her so that we could lead her home. And I managed to hurt my arm pretty good. And I mean, I'm gonna be okay. I didn't have to go to the hospital or nothing, but it's definitely letting me know that it's there. And I got a bruise where she head butted me, and so we finally got her. And because she's the lead, the other 2 would follow in behind her. Well, Steve had to drag her home, and I know you guys are thinking this is funny, and it is funny now. At the time, not so. But Steve got her, and we started back home, and she was just like those little cartoons you see of the donkeys where they just sit down on their hind end and they ain't moving. And that's what she was doing. And so every time she would stop and do that, the other 2 goats would run off. Not a long ways, but enough that we would have to stop what we were doing to make sure they were coming. The lead goat would get to moving again. I've been calling her Betty. I'd already named her and already thought I was bonding with her. And so anyway, we finally got them over, and we knew we were going to have to address their pen. They had a big, nice pen, plenty of weeds to eat, plenty of water, and they still found that one little hole, which is what goats do. I understand that. But anyway, I put them in my chicken yard, and thinking, there's a top on it, there's sides all the way around it, and there is a door that was locked and had just a little bitty door, just a little tiny one, for the chickens to be able to go in and go to their roost, and the ducks and the turkeys can get through there. And then it can be latched and locked to keep predators and stuff from getting in there and getting to my birds. Put all them in there, got all that done, and I went over to the next little pens to feed my little bottle baby. And it wasn't even 5 minutes. I turned around and one of them goats, the middle goat, was out. So she had went through that little tiny door. So and I couldn't catch her, and but the big goat, the lead goat, Betty, she's in that chicken yard, and so the other goat has stayed right here in the pen that they originally started out in. She's right there staying close to the other goats. But when I come out to start this video, I looked over there to see what they were doing, and they were headbutting each other. So I have gotten myself into a mess that's going to be soon remedied. And what I wanted to tell you the little story. And those of you that are friends with me on Facebook, thanks for your words of encouragement. I feel better today. You know, last night I left you with I feel defeated. Today I've got a game plan. They're not going to stay. They're gonna go somewhere else to live. And I've had goats before. I'm not an inexperienced goat keeper. I've had a big herd of goats when I was in Arkansas. Same type of goats, and I loved them. And they loved me. I would go out and sit in their pen, and they'd get up in my lap and just sit there like they were little lap dogs. But these goats, they must be from a herd that was not hands-on, because they don't want, well, in fact, except for carrying the youngest goat out of the livestock trailer, she won't even let me get anywhere near her. So they've not had a lot of hands-on with them. Their hooves need to be trimmed. I noticed that yesterday, and so whomever had them before I did, they needed to have some work done to them. They needed to have their hooves trimmed and some other things. And so I have realized that at 51 years old, I am no longer a goat keeper. Now, I'm not saying that the age makes you not able to keep goats, because I know people that are older than I am that have goats. But I am saying that at 51, with the amount of work that I have and with the other animals that I have, as much as I love animals, I'm just not meshing well with these goats. And so to keep one of us from getting hurt, trying to keep these goats in, to keep property from getting damaged, to keep our garden from getting eaten, because they're up there pretty close. But right now, so far, it's pretty, we've not had any incidences with the garden. So I guess that I'm admitting to you, and I think that's important for us to be accountable to one another and to be honest with one another and say, you know, that just didn't work for me. So at Cedar Creek Homestead, I'm telling you that goats are not going to work for us. I just don't want that challenge. I don't have the time or the energy to put into something that is gonna just be a lawnmower. So they're gonna get rehomed, or we're gonna have a really big barbecue. I'm just kidding, we're not gonna have a barbecue. But they're gonna be rehomed. And last night I told Papa Tex, I said, now they're going back to the sale barn, and I'm gonna, because what you do is you take your if you go through the sale barn, then they have a drop-off point, and you have to sign in, and you sign your the animals that are assigned to you, and there's a process, and it's your choice to stay at the sale, and after your livestock sales, you can get your paycheck, or they'll mail it to you. At least around here, that's how they do it. And so I told him, I said, I'm taking them back, I'm dropping them off, and they can mail me my check. I don't even want to watch them sell. So out of that frustration, I feel better today. The decision's been made. I feel good about it. I know that some will say, well, you haven't really given it time. But sometimes it doesn't take all that long to realize that you bit off more than you could chew. And I'm willing to admit that I bit off more than I could chew. I did not know that the little calf had been kicked in the mouth, and that he was going to take a little bit of extra time himself. until, you know, we got him home and we started working with him, and then realized that he had the problem that he had. And I thought he was going to be the challenge, but I'll be honest with you, he's not been that bad. He has all of his, you know, he's able to go to the bathroom, he's able to poo, and he's able to urinate, and he's drinking water. He's not drinking a lot of milk. I would think that milk would be his biggest thing because of his age. He's just a little bitty calf. But milk is, he takes some, and I have to, like I told you, I have to put the bottle back here. And I've been getting him to take about maybe a cup and a half of milk. But the little thing eats feed, sweet feed. And of course it's softer than corn or anything, you know, any other feed that you'd be trying to give him. And he nibbles around on that, and he eats grass, and he's perking up, and his little ears, you know, he's holding those little ears out, and he's not 100% coming to me, but he is not running off anymore. He's staying there, and he's letting us mess with him. So because of that, I just don't have time to have a goat rodeo every day. And so I know that with you know, the challenges that we already have and the other things that we want to accomplish, that the goats don't fit, and so they're gonna leave, and I will be happy to do the other things that I've got. But I wanted to be honest with you. I wanted to be upfront with you, and just to tell you that sometimes you have to make decisions that's the best decision for your farm. And, you know, lots of farms, lots of homesteads have goats, and they have beautiful goat herds. Some have dairy goats. I'm going the dairy cow route. But it's okay, and it doesn't make you a failure. And I realize that there's things that we do in our lives, not just on the farm, but in your job. You may, you know, seek a job and get in there, and it's a wonderful job, and you start your job and you go for a while, and you realize that it's not the perfect fit for you. And those goats are not the perfect fit for us. So anyway, guys, real quick video just to let you know that I'm better this morning. Some of you didn't know that I was feeling defeated, but I was. Josie was hanging her head low last night. I felt so bad because I had just put that video out on being resourceful, and so I'm going to be resourceful another way. I bought me a weed eater that's lightweight, and the weed eaters that Howie had are really super heavy, and there's just no way I can carry them around and do the amount of weed eating and the different things that we need to get done. So I did go buy a lightweight weed eater, and that's what we'll do. And you know, we may have to do some other things, take some other measurements, and also pardon, I can bring the cows up here in the barn lot, and they eat a lot of that grass down too. So I just can't let them in the yard. I have to weed eat my yard, and that's okay. So pardon. Anyway, guys, I love you, and I hope that you got a little chuckle out of my crazy goat story. And I didn't do it because I think that you should treat your animals nicely, but I sure wanted to kick one of them in the tail last night. It might have made me feel a little bit better. Anyway, guys, love you. Appreciate all that you do, all the kind words of encouragement, and the, you know, pushing that you do. And until next time, this is Josie with Cedar Creek Homestead. We're gone.